Hello everybody, happy Friday. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Not in the fish room because I couldn't be doing with the whole reorganising everything to get the camera and the microphone working. So hopefully this is a little bit better and you can hear and indeed see me. Let me just make some quick changes because I'm on a different computer this time. So we get the live chat up here and we press that button and then that button. And then we can say hello to people. Oh. Such as Novo Perkelly, who says Mega Tank. Mega Tank. I like that as a first comment. I always like to see that. Ross Hill, evening from a snow-free Edinburgh. Well, welcome to an extremely snowy Sheffield. This is possibly the snowiest I've ever seen it since I've lived in England. And it's only been the past couple of days as well. It's just dumped a whole load of snow. It's ridiculous here. GB says, hi, Hans Hartman from Sweden. We probably know a lot about snow too. A snow-free Preston. It's weird. I've been talking to colleagues who are not that far away from me geographically who are going, yeah, there's no snow here. And it's like literally a standstill. I know it's normally a standstill when you get 3 snowdrops in a row in this country. Everyone goes, no! It's all terrible. I seem to have brought the wrong beers upstairs. This is never going to go down well. Oh, anyway. That's quick panic buy bread and milk. It's -1 degrees. But it literally was impassable. I've been out digging the roads the last couple of days, making paths. Oh, reminds me of home. Let's put it that way. Rocky says, good evening. Bubbling Fins, UK. Good evening, everyone. Courtney's in early. Hello there. Brian's in. Mark's in. Holly's here. Martin. Silver Surfer, nice to see you. Freshwater Ichthyology. Hello there. No snow for David, but bitterly cold. It's not really been that cold. Tonight's the night that it's going to get really cold, apparently. So, just melt it a little bit today and then freeze it solid so it's complete chaos tomorrow. Coral Works says, don't forget to hit that like. Yes, as always, we'll start off with some admin straight away. This is the Friday night live stream. It's Fishy Business. It's free to enter. You don't need to pay anything. You just have to give us a like on your way in or your way out if you decide you hate it, which I can understand. By all means, subscribe, donate, join, whatever you want, but just give us a like. That's the entry fee. Collaboration of Curiosities says, good day. Chicken Fists in. Sound good. Right, okay. So on that, I've brought both the wrong glass and the wrong beers up, but we'll manage. Tonight, we're doing a blast from the past. Don't know if you can remember this one. I'll need to get the spreadsheet up later. Beavertown Heavy Gravity, a hazy IPA, 6.5%. And if I remember correctly, my initial findings on this beer were, God, this is disgusting. But I seem to have trained my palate now, and I actually quite fancy hazy IPAs. And this is indeed a hazy IPA. So we'll give it a go. I'm normally one of these people that if you need to train if it's something you need to acquire a taste for, I'm a bit like, there are things that are already delicious. Just go straight for them. Why am I wasting time with things that you need to acquire a taste for when there are things that are just nice? But we'll give it another go just to see. This could be like olives I used to hate olives, now I quite like olives. So, cloudy beer, hazy beer. Used to hate it, now I quite like it. So we'll see whether or not this does the thing. As you can see, I've got no better at pouring pints from a can. Bit fruity. What does the blurb say? I need to go back and watch my old videos again to see whether or not it makes sense. It doesn't say anything, does it? It's beer. There you go. That's all you're getting. Doesn't smell too offensive. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I've definitely just acquired a taste for this. That must be it. All good, sound good, very good. Humble Crumble, hi, I've just found your channel. Well, welcome, Humble Crumble. I apologise in advance. I'm not a very good live streamer. No doubt something will blow up in the background, the stream will crash. We will, oh, somebody's done a thing. I don't know what the thing is, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll randomly go on to topics that have nothing to do with what we do, but if you like this kind of thing, there are Fishy videos you can go and watch on my channel. Live streams are a bit more free form, just chat about whatever you want. So ask me questions. The format is roughly, I witter on for a while. Around about 10 o'clock we have a quiz, so it's almost 10 past 9 at the moment. So wherever you are in the world, in about 50 minutes we'll have a quiz. The winner of the quiz will win some things. In 3 to 4 business months, I will send out the prizes for the things. I apologise in advance, Scott, if you're here, because I haven't sent you a prize from last week. If you want to ask me questions, go ahead. That's why we're here. Stick the word question in your question, and it highlights it for me so I can see it a little bit easier. But yeah, we'll just randomly witter on about any topics you want to know about. Obviously, I posted a video today of Mega Tank because I realised the other day, it was the first time I'd opened the garage door. For those of you who are new, Mega Tank is my DIY large aquarium, large homemade fish tank, which has been a bit of a ball ache, if I'm completely honest. And the other day was the first day I had opened the garage door, because it's in the garage, and wasn't squinting and worrying that I was going to see a whole flood of water coming from the latest inevitable leak. And I thought, oh, that must be a shift as a mindset. Things have changed. I'm not constantly crapping myself that it's going to fall apart. And I'd found that I'd added plants, I'd added some decorations, I'd moved some things around, and I thought, it's a proper fish tank now. It's doing proper fish tank stuff. So I thought I'd make a wee video about that. So let me know, what's this dog doing? What are you doing? It's just snorting away to itself over there. Juggler, hello. Paul Burke, hello. Paul's one of my colleagues, so must remember not to say anything nasty about work, as if you in mind. Said Aquatics, hello there. Lanks Fishkeeper, we're in. Dangerous Dan has had a crap fish week this week, that's not good. Feel free to tell us all about it, see if we can mend our sorrows. That's not the phrase I was going for. Just have a beer. It's not as nice as some of the other ones, but it's not horrible. Let's put it that way. Scott's in. IHSP Tank Tribe. That's a mouthful. I might just call you Tank Tribe if you don't mind. Kenny's here. Fish Vet says, evening from a non-meteorologically significant Nantwich. It's cold, as is tradition. It's ridiculous here. It's mental. Hello everyone. Windy as can be here. Gusts have to be 80 miles an hour and the walls are shaking. Speak up a bit, Graham. Oh, very quiet. I'm getting a bit fed up with all this moaning about audio quality. Turn it up. I can imagine Sheffield with its hills was a nightmare. It was, well, I had nowhere to go, so it was perfectly fine. It was just ridiculously deep. It was... So at the deepest parts in my garden, it was knee-high. And the lowest parts, it was at least 18 inches. The snow only lasted a day here. It's now reasonably warm. I think it's meant to get warmer, so it's meant to get really cold tonight, snow again tomorrow, and then on Sunday it's going to go up to like 8 or 9 degrees. So I've got to make the most of it and get the snowman built as quickly as possible. Tank Tribe already on my way in. NGW from Doncaster. God, you're late today, NGW. Hello from Sheffield. Groundtail Half Moon, hello there. Heineken's Heavy Gravity. Is it Heineken? The Beavertown stuff? I might need new glasses. I can't see any of this stuff. can all just sit and wait while I try and decipher the back of this can. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. You're my beer expert. Oh, do I have my emergency orange light? I don't. I do have an orange downstairs. If anyone's listening, please. This is going to be a thing. I've picked so this is the next one, and this is quickly becoming a favourite of mine. I can't remember if it's this one or there's another one that I might have in the fridge that I thought, ooh, this is delicious, and it's up to 2 or 3 pints worth, and then realised, ooh, it's both delicious and extremely strong, and I'm now half cut. But yeah, this is perfectly fine. I feel like you've gone full circle from our well, that was the whole point of the experiment, was try weird beers to get into it, and I'm now into it. The only thing that I found now is weird beers are ridiculously expensive. So these ones, I think it was these ones, and it might have been the other ones that I'm confusing them with, were like £4 each for a can. I'm Scottish. That's ridiculous. I don't like paying £4 for a pint out in a pub, never mind for a can that I bring home and drink in my own house. £4 for... So yeah, that's putting me off a little bit. But there was another one of these ones. The Northern Monk ones I quite like. There was like a juicy one, and it was in Sainsbury's, and it was like £1.10 a can. And it was only, they were on offer. They should have been like £3 a can. So I quite like them as well. I think I just liked them because they were cheap though. ABC, what's up, Fish Fam? Nice to see you again. I've been your member for 9 months, says ABC. Wow. I almost said, I'm sorry I haven't delivered better content in those 9 months. However, we'll try for the next 9 months to do better. And that's a thing. You can do that. You can be a member. You can join down below and get access to all kinds of extra emojis that you can use in the chat. I say sometimes there are extra videos, but I think I might have made 2 extra videos. Maybe one day we'll get onto more videos. I tried to do a members only video for my recut of the live stream for the 100th live stream, and it just didn't work and screwed everything up. So I will try and do more specific content, but I think the content should be for everyone. And members, you're joining to be a member, to be supporting the small creator and get the smallest violin in the world out for me. But I'll see if I can get a few more things in as well. But thank you very much for your 9 months. I wonder who's my longest serving member. I think if you type member in the chat or something like that, you get to, it tells you. I don't know how that works. I might be making that up. You can also gift memberships. I keep getting emailed by YouTube saying gift some membership. I don't know how that works. The only options I can see is start a poll, start a Q&A. So I don't know how to gift a membership. Do I have to actually go on my live stream maybe? Is that how it's done? Bear with me as he figures things out on the fly. My channel. No? Yes? Maybe? I'll need to mute myself. Oh yeah, I can gift memberships. I can buy memberships for multiple viewers. How does that work? I don't know. Right, let's give it a try. I'm going to gift a membership, maybe, if it works. And you also, if I'm gifting a hero membership, I don't know how I do it, you also get money off, so you get a discount on anything you buy at aquariumadventures.co.uk. You can buy my fish food, my merch, any of those things. I don't know if it's going to work now. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, we will crack on. I don't know how it decides who gets the membership or what happens, but, you know. Someone, oh God, I've pressed the wrong button again. Someone can see the massive benefits you'll get by joining. Love the snake head. Thank you, Humble Crumple. The snake head is fast becoming a favourite of mine. I didn't really show it very well, but I work from my garage and something's happened. Mickey's become a member. I work from my garage and I have a desk set up right next to Mega Tank, and the snakehead literally sits here, so my head's quite close to the glass. The snakehead sits here, and just the way their eyes are, I think it is, it looks like he's looking at my laptop, and when I'm working away, every time I look round, it's like he's been caught, and he kind of goes, "Oh no, I wasn't looking, honest Gav, no." And then sometimes I'll be like scratching my head if I'm on a call, going, "Oh, I don't know what to do or what to say," and I'll turn around and look at him, and he'll be like, "Yeah, me neither." So it's very, very strange. But I do like my snakehead. I do need to get some more fish into Mega Tank because there's not trouble, but there's a little bit of an edge, a little bit of aggression. I mean, both the fish in there are quite large and they're big enough to take it and give it without it becoming a problem, but I'd like to get a few more fish in there that are also big enough to take it, just to spread that aggression before it does become a problem. Obviously I've talked about my Oscars being the fish that I want to put in there, but they're not quite big enough. But I also don't want to just randomly take some other big fish that's got a problem. You might have heard my rant last week about rescuing fish. So I'm easing into it, shall we say. My Fish Tanks Aquatics says, "Hello fishy folks." Hello, My Fish Tanks Aquatics. Humble Crumbles in County Durham. Nice to see you. Mickey's in. Hello. I love mega anything, says Kenny. Anything that's... I love mega... Sorry, I read that wrong. I love mega anything. I love mega. Anything that's easy isn't worth doing. Well, I would much prefer it to be easy. I've got to be completely honest. And other things happened. I don't know what it is, but we'll come to it. Sorry. Time for a cider. Yeah, let me know in the comments. What are you joining me with? What beverage are you swilling this evening? Yeah, this is fine. It's just not my favourite. I do like the salt ones, so I did buy a few more of the salt ones recently. After drinking the Jude in the pub, I've got a few of the other ones tried them. I really like them. I really like the Northern Monks ones. They seem to be my favourites. Another thing has happened. By complete coincidence, I realised I'm drinking a double hazy IPA. Brewdog's Double Hazy Jane. I've not really tried that many Brewdogs. I don't know, something puts me off about them, but I might try some of them a bit more. Audio's perfectly fine, by the way. Even the video's fairly good. Wow. Let's not get carried away. But thank you for that. Good, I'm glad it is. Dennis is here. Hello, Dennis. Tank Tribe, IHSP, dumbass. I'll answer. Knee high. You sure you weren't standing in the pond? Yes. The pond was frozen, so I'm glad I didn't put the fish back out the other week like I was thinking of doing. Now that Mega Tank is an overwhelming success, let's not go that far, you should build another in the opposite end of the fish room for symmetry. I may do something like that. I've still got my old broken display tank, and I'm thinking if I do move my office down there, that display tank, I might take it apart properly and rebuild it properly and see how we get on with that. But I think I've learned a lot from doing the Mega Tank build, that I could do a second one a lot more successfully, put in a little bit more effort in the corners and things like that, and put in a little bit more time for curing and drying, and so there's all these little lessons, and I think that's one of the videos I want to make is, okay, what lessons did I learn? What if I was going to build this again, what would I do differently, or what would I do the same, or what would I tweak? What was I almost right with? because there's still a few things I just don't know why it didn't work or why it did work sometimes. But they're few and far between now. Most of the things I think we've got it. Did you succumb to your energy company and move your hull tank? No, the hull tank is still where it is. And unfortunately, Scott, it is not. The update to my energy monitoring plugs did not make any difference. You thought that beer was called Northern Monkey? Oh, Northern Monk. We've zoomed away, sorry. Megatank, whose? Where? Mine, downstairs. Megatank is my DIY project that I've been banging on about for the last year. I'm finally getting to a level of happiness. I mean, it's not finished. I hope I made that clear in the video. It's nowhere near finished. There will be tweaks going on for that for at least another few years before I'm very happy with it. Robert Kerr, good evening, number one. Thank you, number one, Dad. Dad and so Aquarium Adventures Senior, both of them have got the Rona. They're not very well. They're feeling a bit down in the dumps, so let's have some love in the chat for them. Wish them a get well soon to Granny and Grandpa, or Mum and Dad. I've started calling you Granny and Grandpa all the time now. I didn't think that was a byproduct of having kids. I no longer have parents. I just have Granny and Grandpa. £4 a can. You could heat your discus tank for 10 minutes at that amount. I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? The craft beer is more expensive than an Aldi Lidl reasonable wine. Well, the Aldi and the Lidl craft beer, I really like the one from Lidl, as we should be calling it, I suppose. That's nowhere near that kind of price. And that's delicious. I really like that one. I've immediately forgotten the name of it, but it's the one that I've been banging on about for a while. So that's better and more reasonable. But yeah, some of them are just daft. Question: how are the family and how was your week? My week was busy and yeah, family are mostly fine. Sorry for the evasive answer there. £4 a can. Look up Vendetta's 2023 putty. Verdant's Vendettas. Or putty if you're an IT nerd. Which you are. It's a TIPA. A TIPA, what's that mean? Triple IPA? We'll go with triple. 10% and tastes like a pint of turf. The cost £9 a can plus delivery. I regret having 3 cans. Yeah, well, I don't want to get even more expensive beer, so as I feel happy about my £4 a can beer. I want to find that happy medium. House of Sass says hello. Mickey has been a member for 29 months. My God. That's several years. 2 and a bit. Quick maths. Wow, that's appreciated. Thank you, Mickey. You turn on the option and it's for others to purchase a number of memberships and it randomly passes out the memberships. Oh, right, so am I not meant to do it myself? There, I did it. I gifted 1 Aquarium Adventures membership. I'm going to have to start doing things to make these memberships worth it now. I will do. I will. So how do I have to assign it to someone? It randomly passes out the membership. Okay. Do I have to press something to make that happen? I'm a professional. I do this all the time, these streams. I know what I'm doing. Honest. Do betters do well in a community aquarium? In my experience... Okay, let me answer this properly. In my experience, yes, actually. But that's not the given general consensus. Betters, in my experience, are very much individual fish. So you will get a betta that will be happy in a community, and you will get a betta that will kill everything that you put anywhere near it. So it's a bit of a risky game to play. I've not had that many betta fish, but the few that I have tried to keep in a community has been fine. I mean, it depends what the community is. If the community is a community of cherry shrimp, then no, that's not going to work well. Equally, if the community is a community of Oscar fish, no, that's not going to work well. But if you get the mix right, so I don't know. Generally, peaceful fish tends to be things like bottom-dwelling fish and things like that. If you have cories, for instance, that might work well because they tend to stick to their own area of the aquarium. Like if you've got things that have got big flowing fins, that will just be too much of a temptation for most bettas. But equally, the more mentalist betters will just kill whatever. It doesn't matter whether they're sticking to their own area. They'll just go for it. But in my experience, it's been okay as long as you take the kind of common sense precautions that you might think about. There we go. Scott Haddo. I can't share the message for some reason, but it does say Scott Haddo was gifted a membership. So, Scott, congratulations, you have a membership. There you go. Woot, Scott. Congratulations. Yes, but it depends what else is in the setup, Stephen. Yes. Yeah, I got one right. Oh, hey, I'm a member now. Yay. Congratulations. It's random. Yes, it seems to be a lot. Oh, while I'm here, do you do your insect-derived foods in larger quantities, larger pellet sizes? This is my story, Jerry, for my foods. I'm trying to think. My insect-derived foods, do you mean like the soft artemia? Or do you mean like the freeze-dried stuff? Some of it I can get in different sizes. Some of it I can't. You need to have said something in chat to be eligible. There you go. I think to be able to receive memberships, you need to have something switched on. Chris McVeigh, Gordon is definitely not a moron. One for the old fellas out there. I don't get that reference, so therefore I'm not that old, hopefully. Gailey, hello. Question from Brian. Can you store your HMA water and would it need an air stone? My bad, I was sure you had RO water. Rewatched older videos. You can store HMA water, just like you can store RO water. An air stone would help. Depends how long you want to store it for, I guess. A few people have asked me this question. A few people I know do that. They do store their HMA water. I've never really made sense for it. I found it's like, why? I think one of the main benefits of an HMA is that you don't need to store the water. So the idea is you just use it as and when you need it. Now, obviously, if you're doing a big water change and you don't have it heated, then yeah, you might want to store it while you heat it. An air stone would help with that because it will keep the water moving, so it will heat it a bit more evenly and efficiently. But yeah, I have my HMA comes through at the tank temp, so as I can just use it straight away and I don't have to give over some space for storing water. Simon's been a member for 9 months. This is quite humbling, really. I didn't think I had many members that had lasted that long. 6K Aquatics watching live for the first time in a couple of weeks after working late, so I've been listening on Sundays doing water changes. Any more on audio only? No. There might be news in that area coming. So I did used to carve up the Friday night live stream and release it as a podcast. I might get back into doing that a little bit, because the amount of people who have said exactly what you've just said there. Yeah, I can't make the live stream. I re-listen to it on a Tuesday when I'm doing my water changes or when it's my day off. I stick it on in the background and I go away and I do some jobs or whatever it is. I have it on in the garage or I have it on the car while I'm driving. Do you have a podcast? Do you have a podcast version? So all the bits where I'm dicking around on the computer going, oh, look at this fish, this is, oh, yeah. I'll cut all that out because that doesn't mean anything if you can't see the screen. Then you can just have an audio version. It's just time and effort, and I have a lot going on at the moment and don't have a lot of time and very little energy for the effort parts, but you know, one day we'll get there. But thank you for enjoying it at least. Just another quick reminder, we've been doing a quiz for the last few weeks. I have run out of fishy facts to put into quiz format, so I'm going to open up a channel on Discord. Up here you can see the Discord server. It's basically for old people, it's a chat room. I'm going to open up a channel on there, or some way that you can send me your fish facts that I can turn into fish questions for the quiz each week, because the quiz seems to be going down well. It's quite fun. It's a fun quiz, a mix of fishy and normal general knowledge questions. I try and go for about 15 questions, something like that. We do it about an hour in and give a prize to the winner. So we've got about half an hour to go for that, so get your thinking caps on if we're ready for that. Kaylee's been a member for 24 months. Your 2-year milestone. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm joining you with sadness, Graham. Oh no, no whiskey, no brew, just tears of sadness. Oh, that's not. I do have some tea. There you go. You've redeemed yourself. You brought it back. Rebecca's on the wine. Nice to see it. Combination of Budweiser and Old Rosie here for Dangerous Dan. Harvey's Original, the best beer in the UK for Alfie. The Morrison salt beers are good. They've entered my beer cycle as my fiancée likes them too. She's a keeper. Quite right. The Fish Room, good morning team. Good morning yourself. You'll get a bellyache guzzling them cloudy beers. No, I've not met a beer that can give me a bellyache yet. Bad head, maybe. Hi everyone. If I was still drinking and in the UK, I'd be having a Guinness. I mean, feel free to share your soft drinks as well. Don't be swayed by my dirty alcoholism. You can join with a Pepsi Max. That's my usual tipple of favour. Yeah, it's not £4 good. Oh my god, I'm miles behind. Right, okay, if we want to catch up by 10 o'clock, let's get through these. Apologies if I miss anything. Remember, type question in the question and I will read the question. The Guinness in the UK is different to what I can get in the US and much better. Well, they say that, don't they? Even the Guinness in Ireland's better than the Guinness in mainland. There you go. As Rebecca's saying, it's different from the rest of the UK as well. Sorry to hear it didn't update to give you good news. I'm completely in love with my smart plugs. I'm thinking about buying a third box of the lights and then I'll only just have those in the future. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. They work as smart plugs. They don't cost any more than normal smart plugs, and they do energy monitoring as well. How can that not be a good deal? In fact, let's go and do some immediate shilling, and I'll share my Amazon link so as I get an extra 30 pence if you buy a box of them. What we're talking about here is the Tapo smart plugs that have an energy monitoring feature, and it's how I've been monitoring how much energy all my things have been costing me. And you can get a box of 4 of them for about 30 quid, I think it is, or 34.99. So they're on a bit of a deal at the moment. And yes, this is an affiliate link, and if you use this link to purchase, I will get something, but I'll get like 10 pence or something like that. Why you no paste? There you go. So if you're interested in that and you want to take control of your devices, this 4-pack's excellent. So even if you've just got one fish tank, you can plug the lights into one, the heater into another, your pump into another. and see exactly what it is that's costing you the money and how much money it's costing you. They're dead easy to use. I don't work for Tapo. I'm sure other versions are available, but they're the ones I went with, and they've worked flawlessly since I've had them. So go and try them out. As Elvis would say, a little less conversation, a little more action. I want to hear how you would do Mark II Megatank. Can't wait for that video. Yes, I was about to say I'm working on it now, but I'm not. It's an idea. But I think it would be good. Brian says, another Megatank. More rubber for the garage. I mean, dungeon. Set the gimp free. For what it's worth, my most expensive beers are the best usually. I have a bottle of Curtains 2022 Imperial Stout, and while expensive, it's incredible. Taking freshwater ichthyology's comparison is like wine. Yeah, well, I think that might be a bridge too far for me. I was talking about this with someone else about, what was it we were talking about? Cameras. So I remember going from my first point and shoot camera and going, yeah, it's alright, to my first good camera and going, wow, that's great. But comparing that with another camera that cost £5,000 more, I'm a bit like, meh. Same, it's that extra, unless you're a real die-hard enthusiast, I don't think the majority of people can tell the difference between good and great in many things, whether it be high-end audio, high-end video, most tech, wines. I've had wines that it turned out cost hundreds of pounds a bottle, and I've been like, yeah, that's nice. Whereas a wine that costs £10 a bottle, it's nice. It's just, it's wasted on us. It's wasted on us heathens. A good wine costs more than an average one. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying there's crap, average, good. Most people can tell the difference between that range. Good, great, amazing. Very few people can tell the difference in that range, and that applies across everything, in my opinion. So if I was, how could I do it for my audience? If you're talking about discus, a discus showfish, I can tell you what a crap discus looks like, a good discus looks like, and a great discus looks like. But take me to a discus show, I'm going to give all of them the same marks pretty much, because I can't tell those little tiny details that take something from great to amazing. And the same with beer, same with wine, same with most things. I know what I like, but I can't tell those little details that take you that extra level. I suppose when you get more and more you get into things, you start to. I mean, I remember when we got our first HD TV, my wife was like, wow, look at that picture, that's amazing. Then we got our first 4K TV, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. She was like, yeah, it's the same. Like, what? No, of course it's not. And then we got our first TV that did HDR, and I was like, wow, look at that, look at the colours. Yeah, it's nice. Straight over her head. Jackie Kerr, there's Granny as well. Hello, or Mum, she's otherwise known. Hello from Glasgow. We're still a bit poorly with the COVID, yes. So, lots of get well soons in the chat for you, Mum. Hope you're feeling well. Get to bed. Right, I'm trying to scroll through a little bit to catch up because I'm miles behind. I've just been scared off by plants science question. Okay, my two weakest subjects. Let's have a go at this one. Is the amount of nitrate taken up by a plant dependent on the size of plant or the speed of growth? I.e., can you cut a plant in half and put both hands in? Would it work? Put both hands in. Would it work times 2? Okay, let's break that down. So, is the amount of nitrate taken up by a plant dependent on the size of the plant or the speed of growth? Both. So, a big plant that's slow growing will take up a lot of nitrates, as well a small plant that's fast growing, because it's about converting the energy into growth. So if you cut a plant in half and put both halves in the tank, would it work times 2? Don't know. Interesting theory. My initial reaction is to say no, because you've just got the same mass taking out the water, it just happens to be split in 2. But if that was a fast-growing plant, then you effectively have 2 fast-growing plants because they grow a little bit more in isolation than they would because they tend to slow down as they get bigger. Maybe it would. Might be a video idea there, Stuart. I don't know. Freshwater ecology saying yes, but also the species of the plant and other factors controlling growth, i.e. the intensity and spectrum of light. Yes, so I guess that goes towards the fast growing or not. If it's fast growing, it's using up more. If it's big, it's using up more. Generally, I listen and catch up, but tonight I've made it live. Well, in 15 minutes or so, you can join in the quiz, and you might even win a wee prize. If you think, like in gardening, some plants need more nutrients than others in different types, particularly when it comes to NPK, nitrates. Also, usually there are seasonal differences. Yeah, very true. I mean, some plants, like my favourite plant, I can't tell you about it because that might be a quiz question. Ollie's joining us with a Rubio's tea and an ear infection. Ugh, that's not nice. I'll speak a bit quieter, then hopefully not hurt your ears. Iron Brew for Mum, very good. The Discord is fun and loads of help. Good, I'm glad it gives someone some help. Can you have 50 discus in a 200-gallon tank? Probably. I'm rubbish with the whole gallons to nonsense. How many litres is 200 gallons? 200 gallons, 2 litres, not imperial gallon, US liquid gallons is 757. I mean, 50 is pushing it, but if you had nothing else in there, yeah, probably. I've lost the chat now. Come back, chat. All is forgiven. So, yes, big dog, you probably could get 50. Certainly smaller ones. As they got into adulthood, you might want to thin out that herd. Question 6K Aquatics. Do you have any recommendations for cheap aquarium lights? Just for fry tanks, no plants. If there are any aquarium light manufacturers out there who want to send me some so I can do a comparison and make some recommendations, just reach out. I do want to find out more about aquarium lights, or I do want more aquarium lights. That's the be all and the end all. I have recently purchased a bunch of, what are they called? Come on, brain. You can do it. Hygger lights. I made a video about them a while back. They were, at the time, about the cheapest aquarium LED strip lights you could get. And I was really impressed with them. They were solidly made, good materials, good amount of light. Really happy with them. And they were about as cheap as you could get. So I'd be happy to recommend them. I have started to look into, I don't know what you call them. We mentioned them briefly last week. They're like T5 and T8 light fixtures. So you might not know what that is, but old aquarium lights used to be, you get T5, so they're like the tubes, or T8's the big fat tubes. But they were really expensive to run. But they seem to be retrofitting them with LEDs now, so you've still got the same fixture, but it's got an LED tube in it, so they run a lot cheaper, and they're quite cheap. Let me see if I can find some for you. I haven't pulled the plug. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Purely because I'm hoping someone will been getting inundated with offers of, will you test this product? I'm just hoping one of them's going to be a light soon. So I'm hoping someone's just going to send me some. So, for example, and this is a very much an example, little face, this type of thing. I've picked this completely at random. I don't know if this is a good one or a bad one or anyone else in between, but it's this type of LED batten light. They can be daisy chained together. So this one, for instance, this is an 8-pack for 80 quid, so 10 quid a light for a 4-foot light. You're not going to get better than that. So I'm thinking, if I just get them, they're good. So they're only 20 watts each. For a 4-foot light, you're not going to get better than that. They're not going to be the most high light options in the world. They're not going to be the greatest for growing plants, but they'll be fine, especially for fish room tanks or fry tanks, like say, things like you don't actually need specific parameters. So I'm probably going to buy something along these lines for myself, and if you're looking for something, I think that's probably the type of thing. So while this is not a recommendation, because I have never used these things, I'll put in the chat the link to this one. If you buy them, let me know. Mega Garage, just seal the door up and fill the garage with water. Oh, well, one day. I totally agree when it comes to show fish, and I think show animals in general, it's obvious given how stores so easily label anything as high quality. Yeah. Telling the difference about refinement. You've gone from shop bought lager to a variety of beers that are more expensive. Could you back and say those Carling beers are good? No, yes I could. Carling beers fits the requirement. If you've been playing five-a-sides, you go into the pub afterwards, I would not want this. I would want a Carling. I would want a nice, refreshing, light, nothing beer. This is about going, tasting, enjoying. So it's horses for courses. There's different things for different things. But I get it. I bought another. Hope the 3p will give me. Oh yeah, it's great. It all counts. Can you have 40 discus in a 35? Yeah, why not? Right, Dangerous Dan with a question. And we move on to the Northern Monk Heathen. I had a sponge filter seeding on my main tank for 2 months and had to use it in the hospital tank for my betta with Popeye. The hospital tank has been treated with Aquarium salt and Melifix. Will the filter be safe to use in a fry tank I'm setting up next? Let's split it in two. So the aquarium salt, that's not going to do anything, so that'll be perfectly fine to use it in another tank. Melifix is basically water. Melifix, anything with fix on the end of it doesn't actually do anything, in my humble opinion. I'm sure there are benefits, I just don't know what they are. So that would be fine, but the reason you might not want to use it in another tank is if your fish has had an illness. So in this case it might be Popeye, but sometimes underlying illnesses present themselves as things like Popeye. So it might have been an underlying illness. You wouldn't want to take a filter from a sick fish tank and put it in a not sick fish tank. So it's fairly easy to decontaminate these things. If you just let it dry out for a bit, it'll be absolutely fine. If you put it in really, really hot water, it'll be fine. If you run it through like a Milton bath or some kind of sterilisation stuff, that'll be fine. Obviously, they will all kill all the beneficial bacteria as well, but it's all about your appetite for risk, I think. Most things follow the 80-20 rule. For most people, you can get the first 80% of quality for the first 20% of the cost. And you can spend a lot. Indeed, you can spend a lot more for only a little improvement. So I think there is that middle ground of buy cheap, buy twice, or buy crap, or whatever it is. For the relatively little extra you have to spend, there's a huge spike in the quality that you get. And then you get to a point where that spike levels off and it only goes up tiny, so you can spend a lot more and only get little tiny benefits. And I think that's true against many things. Dangerous Dan, Melifix has been proven to have no antibacterial property. Anything with fix, I think it's just a bit of a scam. Chat has disconnected. Please wait while we reconnect you. Successfully connected. Sorry about that, everyone. Yes, chat did go a bit wild there. Don't know if they're available in the EU Aquarium Adventures, but the tube-style LED lights are what Aquarium has here in the States. Jahiros seems to be the new champ of cost versus quality. They don't seem to be very cheap, unless I've been looking at the wrong things. How would be spelling that? Jahiru. Get some of the letters right, we'll get there. I did look into them recently, and while they were good, compared to other high-end lights, they're still a hell of a lot more expensive than your cheap, crappy Higers or Nycrews and things like that. I use daylight LED lights. You can daisy chain 5 watts per light, and I use 30 watts on my big tank. I'll post in Discord. Good. I'm interested in that. I use the lights that come with the tanks. I even have the old Arcadia T8 units. I still have T5 and T8 units that I bring out in a pinch, but they tend to be huge energy gobblers. I think T8s and T5s look nicer, yeah, than the cheap LED ones, but most of the full spectrum LEDs can have an element of control in there. You can get the light that you want. David's in a bit late this week, but Stella Unfiltered opened. Right, bear with me a second while I try and make sure that this... Oh, I've only got 14 questions in the quiz. Yum and yum. I'm going to have to... Oh, no, didn't mean to do that. Right, we need to think up one last question for the quiz in the next 4 minutes. Or we could just have 14 questions. That'd be easier. Right, let's get rid of this one. Save and publish. Play live group competition. I want to host. Copy link. Right, the link to the quiz has just been posted. We'll give it a few minutes for everyone to pile in. Don't start. I don't even know if you can start without me. Don't start until I tell you to start, and I'll start and we'll do it all together. The weekly warnings. I have written this, so the answers are as correct as I think things are correct. This is dictatorship as far as it goes. So whatever I say the right answer is, the right answer is. Whether that's true or not, it is what it is. The answers, the faster you answer the correct answer, the more points you get. So if you answer it immediately, you get more points than you do if you think about it for a couple of minutes, but that's still more points than you get than if you get it wrong. So we saw last week, we got someone who was racing away by question 10, and they got clawed back in and overtaken in the end by Scott, whose prize will be going out as soon as the snow thaws. The fun prize will just be like pens, stickers, maybe a couple of bits of food or something like that. I will send it out to you. If you're not in the UK, I might give you a gift card, or I might give you the opportunity to nominate a UK-based player to get your prize, because I ain't posting crap out to the rest of the world, because it costs a bloody fortune. So we've got 7 people coming in now. It's just a bit of fun. Don't take it too seriously. Sometimes the site craps out. Sometimes I get things wrong. The quiz questions are partly fish-based, partly nonsense-based, to give people who aren't fish experts a little bit of a chance to get some of the questions right. So I will try and crash through the rest of the questions and comments before we kick off the quiz in a minute or two. Novo Perkelly, when will Megatank get more inhabitants? When I find more inhabitants. I mentioned in today's video I do want to get more inhabitants, and I have some growing out to put in there, but I'm not just going to take on some more problem rescues just to get more fish in there. I do want to get more fish in there, so if the right things come along, I'm up for it. Paul McCarthy, hello there, how you doing? Even the cheap Nicrews are so much better than what comes as standard with most aquarium kits, and cheaper to run normally. Often true. I must admit, it has been a while since I've bought an off-the-shelf aquarium package, so I'm not sure what comes with the... I think the last thing I saw was someone else was buying one of the dual tanks, and I was really quite impressed with the dual lights and the dual filters and everything about them. I thought, yeah, that's pretty good actually. But yeah, the Nicrew stuff, I've been a big fan of Nicrew stuff for a long time. I was thinking of those T5s for my dream tank, as it won't be heavily planted. Depth will be 30 inches though. What kind of shoes do ninjas wear? I feel I should know this. I don't know. Is it a joke? I hope it's a joke and it's not like a serious question. I like the warmer lighting. You don't seem to get that from most LEDs. You do from higher end LEDs. They will offer quite the spectrum. It's usually the warmer is, if you look at the kelvins, that's the thing that determines warmth more than anything else. With the LED tanks, I'm looking in the sun. I get that, and that is the case with quite a lot of them. Right, so we've got 15 players. Remember, sneakers. Did I put in? Yeah, so there we go. That is the quiz link. So I'll go over to Smallface. I move my face. It's probably okay being there. So if you click on that link, you should end up on a page looking something like this. In a minute, I will click this start button and we will run through the quiz questions. I'd love to get a like for plant growth, but obviously I ruined that for myself by getting snails. Snails don't usually affect your plant growth. Snails, a lot of people see snails on their plants, and then sometimes holes on the plants go, oh no, my snails are eating my plants. They generally don't do that. They only, if your plants have deficiencies anyway, which is causing holes in your plants, your snails will go and eat round those holes, yes. But they generally only eat the decaying matter. Dang it, I'm missing the game. No, you're not. You're just in time, Silver Creek. I've lost the link for it, but you are in time. If you can find it before I do it, there you go. triviacreator.com/join/610957. You can get in there. We need the Stream Deck buttons. Okay, let's see if they work. We have Stream Deck buttons. Right, we've got 18 players that are ready to go. Got that up, didn't I? Drum roll, please. And we will start. Question number 1. Loosely fish related. How many fish and chip shops are there in the UK? Now, I found this to be quite interesting. The answer, when we find the answer, do you know how many McDonald's outlets there are in the UK? There's 1,200. And when you see the answer to this, I think you'll be mildly surprised, because there are 10,500 chip shops in the UK. 10 times more than there are McDonald's. Who is the patron saint of fish? I quite like this bit of the evening because I can relax a little bit. Takes me ages to do this though. I hope you appreciate it. Who's the patron saint of fish? Is it Saint Neart, Saint Andrew, Saint Alan, or Saint Graham? Yum, 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 yum. It is, of course, how could you not know, Saint Neart. Which of these is a real aquatic plant? Bonus points if you figure out what the rest of them are. Is it Petrifuctus totalis, Limnophilia sessiflora, Wingardium leviosa, or Serpensortia? This is my favourite plant that I couldn't tell you about. Oh, you can't see because I'm on small face. Scott wins it with the Harry Potter spells for the rest of them. It is, of course, Limnophilia sessiflora. Oh, I don't know why that picture went in there. Anyway, how old is the world's oldest pet fish, Methuselah, an Australian lungfish, thought to be? How old is the world's oldest pet fish? Now, there's a little bit of dubiosity over the definition of pet fish. But basically, there's an old fish. It's an Australian lungfish. It's called Methuselah, and they think it is either 90, 80, 70, or 60 years old. It is 90. What animal kills the most people every year? For those of you playing along at home, we have fairly tight leaderboard with the top 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people within 10 points of each other. What animal kills most people every year? Hippo, lion, shark, or mosquito? It is, of course, mosquito, which kills more people than all the others combined. What year did the Berlin Wall come down? There you go, a nice fishy question for you. 1988, 1990, Well, that's meant to say 1985, but it says 185. So if you think it's 1985, click that one. That's what that's meant to say. Or 1989. Martinelle, we have a new leader. 2 points ahead of Juggler. 4 points ahead of Shadow. It is 1989. Which came first? Amazon. And I mean the company rather than the river or the jungle. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, or YouTube? I'll give you a clue. There's only 1 year in it. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, or YouTube? The answer is Microsoft. They started a year before Apple, but crucially, Apple actually released their first operating system a year before Microsoft. Nobody cares, Graham. Shut up. Who is the patron saint of fishermen? So not fish, fishermen. Is it St. Andrew, St. Graham, St. Joey, or St. Corey? St. Andrew, St. Graham, St. Joey, or St. Corey? It is, of course, St. Andrew, who's also the patron saint of Scotland and Russia. Busy guy. What are the most popular pets in the world? Is it cats, dogs, birds, or fish? These are the 4 most popular categories of pets. Oh my buzz has joined the top 5. Cats, dogs, birds, fish. Which ones are the most popular pets in the world? It's dogs. There's not much there. Which movie grossed the highest? This is loosely fish related and sort of shark related. Finding Nemo, Jaws, Finding Dory, or Free Willy? So for those of you asking for more shark questions or fish biology questions, I have now exhausted the knowledge of my fishy brain. I can't think of any more questions. So join Discord if you want to contribute. I'll find a way to get anonymous submissions of questions. But which movie grossed the highest? It was Finding Dory, the only one to go over $1 billion, which I thought was quite good. Pardon me. How many species of fish are there? I think this might be a repeat of a question, but if you did know, hopefully you can't remember. How many species of fish are there? Is it 15,000, 50,000, 30,000, or 7,000? It's 30,000, which, interestingly, depending how your interest level goes, is more than the species of mammals and a couple of other categories added together. Anyway, which is the tallest? Is it Ben Nevis, Burj Khalifa, Scafell Pike or Scafell Pike, depending where you come from, or Snowdon? Ben Nevis, mountain in Scotland. Burj Khalifa, building not in Scotland. Scafell Pike, hill in England. Snowdon, hill in Wales. It was Ben Nevis. Google Forms to submit questions yet, maybe? How many countries border China? See, you get general knowledge with this channel as well. It's not just fish nonsense. You'll be sitting at home tomorrow. Just go, do you know how many countries border China, Dad? Because I do. Is it 6? Is it 8? Is it 11? Or is it 14? It is, of course, 14. Yes. I like how I went yes, as if I didn't write the question. What is the second largest country by area? And again, a clue, these are the top 4 countries by size. Remember, by area, not by population. Is it Russia? Is it China? Is it Canada? Yeah. Is it USA? I don't know why I like to say Canada like that. Canada? It is Canada, of course. And the winner is Martinelle. Congratulations, Martin. What a job. It's good stuff. It was well thought out. You ended up being it's quite the battle for silver between Mickey and Scott. But Martin takes it comfortably. Well done, Martin. One more round of applause for Martin. In fact, those of you who are interested in seeing all the positions. So, first Martin, second Mickey, third Scott, fourth Dan, fifth Juggler, Oma Boz, Jack, and Said Aquatics. Then it was Courtney, Catfish Rebecca down at 130C. All the fish experts don't do as well in my quiz. Nabokov, Brian, Hans, and then all over 100 points, which is a good total, especially with only 14 questions. Then we've got down to Fat Kids. Fat Kids win Seesaw. Stuart Wheeler, Rocky's Rocky, David, Nova per Kelly, and then Silverus got in, but obviously couldn't press any of the buttons for some reason. So congratulations all. It's fun, right? We can keep this going for a while. It had to be St Andrew for one of the answers. Well, yes, of course. I didn't know St Andrew was also the patron saint of Russia. See, I learned something tonight. My hopes of doing University Challenge are definitely far away. Just a few more weeks on Aquarium Adventures Trivia Quiz will get you trained up so as you know all the extra answers. What was that thing they used to say about... I can't remember who it was, but somebody who used to play along with University Challenge. If you're not from here, you might not know what University Challenge is, but it's basically a quiz show with brainy people, and they ask really in-depth questions, and it's a team of 4 from one university against a team of 4 from another university, and he used to play along at home, and he would only answer egg to every question, thinking that it's bound to be right eventually. I just thought that was a genius strategy for if you're just going to write yourself off and say, no, I'm so stupid, I'm not going to even entertain answering any of these questions, I'm just going to say egg, hoping above all that they're going to say, ask you about Fabergé eggs or boiled. What food can be boiled, fried and scrambled? I think it was it's either Ricky Gervais or something like that. It was one of those. It was funny at the time, and it's probably not going to be funny me half remembering it and telling you it back. Anyway, David, I missed the first 4. Well, I can only give you so much time, and it is just a bit of fun. Don't get too upset, everyone. So, repeat of last week. First kept changing places, and then the last questions I messed up, and Martin took over. As soon as I get in, it kicked me out. I'm sorry. We'll get some way of submitting questions a little bit easier, so as it's easier for me to create these quizzes. St Neot one I knew because I lived near the place, St Neots, and I vaguely remember a signpost with fish on it. Ah, there you go. I had never heard of that. I only know the saint of animals is St Francis, not Fishy's. I vote to add some shrimp to Mega Tank. Well, I could definitely do that, but they wouldn't last very long. Yeah, unless they were lobsters, like Martin says. I got over 100, not bad. It isn't bad. 100's a good score, especially when there's only 14 questions. These people, Martin, Mickey, Scott, over 200, that must have been some epic Googling, unless you knew all those answers. Question, what came first? I don't understand. What did come first? Yeah, so what came first? Are you asking me what came first? Windows? No, not Windows. Microsoft came first, but Mac OS came first. Only change to the tank was a plastic fry breeder tank put in there with loads of fry. Don't know if that stressed him out or what. Sorry, that's halfway through a conversation I've not been in, so I will move over that. It was me, I was behind in chat and I caught up too late. A mixture of guesses and knowledge that has been locked away somewhere. If they were small enough, they might have bought the shrimp. I've seen the size of the fish that are in Mega Tank. One of them's over 2 foot. The other one's a good 14 inches, if not more. So they might ignore them. Yeah, I suppose you've got a point. But I don't think that's a good idea. I was thinking about adding all my Oscars and just hoping that it would go okay, because I mean, they're not tiny, but I don't think they survive a couple of attacks. But if I put in enough hiding spaces, maybe that would work out. I don't know. So I definitely do want to add more fish to Mega Tank, whoever it was that was asking. Just don't want to rush into it. I mentioned in our last live stream, I had maybe a bit of a rant about rehoming fish. And while I am a member of some of the Facebook groups and some of the WhatsApp things and all that about rehoming fish, I fundamentally have a problem with people who aren't really rehoming fish and they're just selling fish. It's not rehoming. End of story. That's fine. I can just put that out of my mind, and a lot of the time it is I'm rehoming 10 swordtails or 15 bristlenose plecos, or I'm rehoming 5 angelfish or whatever it might be. And yes, some people are just going to auctions and buying loads of fish and selling them on straight away and blah 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 blah. Fundamentally have a problem with that, but it's fine. You're doing your thing, you're selling your fish, you're flying under the radar, you're breaking the rules, or you're hiding from the rules, or whatever it might be. That's fine. Don't think you should be doing it there, but you're doing it there. Whatever. I can live with that. I fundamentally have another problem. I'm over here fundamentally having problems left, right and centre, but I have another problem with people who are rehoming fish and expecting me to pay them to rehome fish. Now, that might sound wrong on the face of it, because I shouldn't have a problem paying for fish, and I don't. I think if it's done, if you ask me to pay for a fish to show that I'm not just some chancer out there trying to flip a fish or don't know what I'm doing, so just going free, yeah, I'll take it. That's fine, and I get that. But there are some people who are offended that their asking price for a certain fish, not laughed at. Okay, I have laughed internally at some of them. But from my point of view and from my position, when you're rehoming a fish, there's 2 main reasons why you're doing it. One is that fish is a massive problem to you for some reason. It's either killing everything in your tank, it's way too big for your tank, it's aggressive, it's you need to find a new home for it, which is a good thing to do, rather than just letting everything just descend into chaos and everything die. You're taking a step, you're getting rid of it. I'm over here going, well, okay, I'm willing to help you with that problem. £500, please. What? You want me to take that murderous fish and give you money? No, that's not happening. Or the one that really annoys me is, I bought this fish, but it's outgrown my tank now, so I need to get rid of it. Yes, you do. But did you not think it would outgrow your tank when you bought that fish? Because either you're stupid and didn't do any research and it's outgrown your tank, therefore I'll take it off your hands. I'm not paying you to be stupid. Or you knew fine well and just thought, I'll pump this off on someone else, or I'll make more money because I'll have grown it into a bigger fish. That's not how it works. You're not stupid, you're an arsehole. No. You don't get to grow on a fish as if you're some kind of industry guru that's, I'm the fish grower, I'm going to grow fish on and sell them on for a profit. No. You've stupidly bought a fish you can't take care of for the rest of its life. And now you need to get rid of it because it's got too big. This isn't, you haven't done a service for someone. It's like, oh yeah, I bought this Oscar, it cost me 60 quid when I bought it, but I've grown it on another 6 inches, so it must be worth 150 now. No. The market for that fish is now decreased so much. You have a tiny pool of people that can look after that fish. So that's a buyer's market, not a seller's market. So I'm not going to just repeat the same rant I had last time, but just because you're and it really does come down to this: you're either an idiot or you're a money grabber. I'm not entertaining that. So trying to navigate the waters to find genuine people who want to get rid of their big fish for genuine, and I don't have a problem paying for it, but when it's clearly done for profit rather than for making sure everything's done above board and as someone that can actually look after the fish, I've had enough of them. But genuine, I'm asking for money because I don't want it to be flipped on. I want to make sure it's someone that's at least got the means to look after the fish, so I'm going to ask for money. And I've heard stories about people who have said, oh yeah, we asked for money, and then when the person came to collect the fish, we didn't take the money, or we refunded the money. And they've talked about this in dogs, cats, fish, all kinds of things. And I've seen it. My snakehead was a rescue where I was expecting to pay money, and when I actually got there to take the fish, he wouldn't take the money off me, and that was very kind, but I would have happily paid for him. It's the ones that are doing it clearly for profit, where it's not the interests of the fish or the interests of the rescue that's anywhere near the top of their priorities. It's just like, I'm rewarding an idiot, or I'm rewarding a scammer. No, it's not a scammer, that's too harsh. I'm rewarding a profiteer. And again, these things shouldn't be illegal to make money and things like that, but it annoys the hell out of me. So it's kind of putting me off all these rescues and rehomings and stuff like that. And even if there are genuine people within there, it's hard to navigate through the mire of shit just to get to them. Lots of people have been tagging me and things and saying, oh, this person's trying to get it. I know you want Oscars, or you like Oscars. This person's getting rid of a 14-inch Oscar. Will you take it? So I go there with that mindset of, will you take it? And I go, yeah, I've got a big tank, I can help you out with that. All right, then I want 100 quid. Thanks, but no thanks. I can't believe you're such a time waster. I'm like, no, someone asked me if I could help by taking this fish off your hands. I don't want to pay you to take that fish off your hands. I'd rather just grow out my own fish that I've already got. I'm doing you a favour. I'm not also going to pay you for doing you a favour. And when you're asking that much money for a fish that just is not worth that much money, why am I being made to feel bad about this conversation? So, don't know why I got into that rant, but that's kind of where I've been recently with adding new fish. So I apologise if I've just gone off on a tangent there. I don't know where I was going with that one. I know a few people with shrimp colonies with even clown loaches. Wow. But lots of plants and usually a lot of shrimps. I guess with a tank as big as Mega Tank, so it's 8 foot wide by 4 foot long. That's not right. 8 foot long by 4 foot wide. I could create quite a lot of habitats in there that a big fish would never actually go into, and the shrimp might be good to hang around in. Mega cull tank. Yeah. Stick your culls in if you still have your cherry shrimp and see if any survive the long haul. I could do. I do still have my cherry shrimp. I've got the jade shrimp now as well. I tend not to cull them though. I tend to just let them get on with things. But yeah, we could have it a go. Question: would crayfish work in Megatank? I don't know. Maybe crayfish can be quite evil though as well, so they can get in. So that was me imagining what a crayfish might do, because I've seen crayfish grab the fins and the tails and the eyes and things of really quite large fish that you wouldn't think, oh my god, it should stay out of the way because it's scared. Why is it attacking it? So I can see it attacking the tilapia and going, yeah, looks like a tasty eye, I'll have that. Or I'm going to hang onto your tail and let you swim around. I'll just ride along until it falls off and then eat it up. I have to mod admin one of these new Facebook group chats. Saying no fish sales is driving me mad every hour of the day. The people that care won't ask for money when you actually ask them, but I think few actually care about their fishies. Yeah, and there is... I do understand that desire to ask for money to make sure it's not going to go to someone who's just going to sell it on. Because there definitely used to be, and not even used to be, there definitely are people out there like, oh, I've got 6 free tanks, what's anyone got? And you're like, so that's your way of choosing your fish? What's available? Not, I'm looking for a such and such, has anyone got any? I'm just looking for fish. They're clearly looking for fish for free to then sell on. Is that right or is it wrong? I don't know. But if I was genuinely trying to rehome, because rehoming for me there's an overarching welfare, care, benefit thing there. I'm rehoming. I'm not just getting rid. I'm not just selling. I'm rehoming. I'm making sure my beloved pet goes to a new home. That's completely different from letting the first person that comes along take it, and then they might sell it on to God knows what, or they might even chop it up and make dinner from it. So I completely understand asking for money, and I'm not even saying I expect not to have to pay for things. I happily pay for fish if it's a fish that I want. But on the other side of that coin is when I'm being asked to help someone out, and it's something I don't really want. Why should I feel bad for saying no, I don't want it? And I might take a fish if I didn't have to pay for it. I'm not going to take a fish I don't really want if it's going to cost me a load of money as well. I shouldn't be made to feel bad for that. I spent a lot of time looking for a home for my panda Corydorus. Shipped off the last 15 this week. The rest of the tank I had to rehome. I didn't fare so well, and it's extremely depressing. It can be, and the whole thing's just depressing. Only fish I had brought and grown on were those who were almost impossible to grow. Discus, I wouldn't mind paying a little extra if it was nice and grown on. Yeah, definitely. There are exceptions to every rule, I think. Discus are probably that exception. They are cheaper to buy when they're younger because they are so hard to grow on. So they do go up in value. But, so the two examples there of Oscars and Discus, the people willing to buy big Discus there are far more of them than the people who are willing and able to buy big Discus are far more and numerous than the people who are willing and able to buy big Oscars. If that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. It might not make sense when it came out of my head. People who actually need help compared to people abusing the system. Yes, there is a bit of that. Those difficult ones I know of, next to no one can grow on because honestly I cannot resist a good sized gold nugget or any other Barian citrus. Yes. Oscars aren't worth anything second hand. I know it sounds bad, but it shows the problem of how easily they are sold. And I think it is because they are so numerous and relatively cheap in the shops when they're young. And it's a shame, because I've always wanted to keep Oscars, and I think they're awesome fish. It's a shame that so few people... And this isn't, oh, look at me, I'm able to keep these big fish. No, it's a shame that so few people have the tanks required to house Oscars, because when you get into Oscars, that's a big old tank that most people, they are not commercially made and available. You're going into the world of specialists and specialisms, and most people just don't do that. The people who do that are probably the people who join into fish chats like this. How many of us are there? There are about 50, 80. So we peaked at about 80. I'm not trying to draw a parallel to say the only people who watch our stuff are the people who will buy big fish tanks, but you know what I mean. They're sold as if they're guppies, but they're Oscars, and they have a lot higher requirements. Rehoming and rescue is pain. It is a pain. I did it seriously with the female pigs, and that took months. Yeah, and the other side of we talked about this last week as well, about the rehoming dogs and things like that, where you're quizzed and it's like the Gestapo coming after you about making sure. You're like, Jesus Christ, I was offering to look after this thing, and now I'm subject to the third degree. This is a bit much, but anyway, I don't want to just have the same rant every week over and over again. So, has anyone got any other questions, any other thoughts, any other ideas that you want to talk about? Put some shrimp in the shump. I don't really want to put anything in the sump. The sump is doing its thing as a good... The sump is... I had a proper look in the sump the other day, and you know how I set it out on my sections? The section where the water comes in is basically like a washing machine, so nothing would live in there. The next section's full of media, so there's very little actual water in there, and then the next section is just the return pump, so that'll just be sucking things up. So I don't think there'd be any good... There's no like calm chamber to put shrimp in. You'd probably have to distract with food on one side and add a fish on the other. They might just sit with their mouth open. Yes, I've very much seen that with a few of my fish. Used to have to do that with the Asian arowana I worked with. Fish rescue, good idea. What, me having my own fish rescue? I did think about using Discord or something for like a fish rehoming, for like genuine rehoming, where we could like crowdsource suitability and weed out I've got 6 free fish tanks, anyone got any fish to help me fill them? Weed out those kind of people. So maybe we'll have a fish rehoming section on the Discord channel, who knows. I hate that when I rehomed my cat, I had to pay Cat Protection League a donation, but I can understand that because they had to pay for care. Yeah, because some places are actually, they're bricks and mortar institutions, or they have staff, they have overheads, and a donation there completely makes sense. It's keeping that organisation running. It's different from private rehoming. From my extensive knowledge of watching YouTube videos, it seems that big tanks are more common in the US than the UK. Would this be a fair statement? Probably is. So big tanks, houses in the US are bigger than houses in the UK, and so are more common. So therefore, they're a little bit better set up for big tanks, and they talk about So the way they describe tanks as well is confusing and different for me anyway. So they'll talk about 55s, 75s, 120s. So if my understanding is correct, a 120 is 120 gallons, and that's 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot. Is that right? That doesn't sound right. 120 gallon. What are the dimensions of a 120 gallon fish tank? 25 inches high, 48 inches long, 24 inches deep. Yeah, so 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot is a 120. I don't hear of many standard tanks much bigger than that. And I guess that's kind of standard for over here as well. So, certainly in the enthusiast market, 5 foot and 6 foot fish tanks in the UK don't seem that uncommon. And I don't hear of many in the US much bigger than that. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. They like to do everything bigger than the US, don't they? Question: how do you feel about gourami? Maybe gourami's like weird beer. I just need to get a taste for them. That was one of the fish that came up, actually. Was a giant gourami. And I had looked at it, because we've talked about this before in the past, where I've thought, oh, giant gouramis are pretty cool. Of all the gouramis, the least meh. So they've been pretty cool. But I had seen one that was really quite colourful. So it was more of a kind of gunmetal grey, but it had red on the tips of its fins and things like this. I thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. And I looked into them. I mean, this is a good 6 months ago when we first started talking about it. And I thought, yeah, that would work. It would probably go quite well in that tank. It would do quite well with those other fish because of the size it would be. And one came up. It was a platinum, I think. And they were trying to sell it off as if this platinum giant gourami was extra special because it was the platinum thing. It was white. It was white and it had big red marks all over its head that looked like it had been beat up to hell. But it was like ultra rare, super example, you'll never to before seen again. It's called Dave, or it had a name or whatever it was. And again, I kept getting tagged in the videos and tagged in the posts saying, "Oh, this would be good for you." And I made a very half-hearted saying, I have been interested in giant gouramis. I really wanted a different type or colour morph or whatever. I can't even remember. In fact, let's have a look and see if I can find it. I basically said, I'll look after it for you. How about that? Until you can find it a good home, because I think there were some kind of emergency. They had to shut the tank down or whatever. And it could be that I was a bit lackluster about it, going, yeah, I suppose. That they wanted to charge me money for it. And again, I'm not against being charged money for it. So as soon as they mentioned, oh, we're looking for this much for it, I was like, do you know what? I'm not that interested. If you really are struggling, I'll take it off your hands. I'll look after it for you until you find another home or someone that is willing to buy it. But it's not for me. I'm not that interested in it that I want. I can't even remember how much money it was, and I can't find the post now. But if it had been the right one for me, I'd have happily paid £100 for it, because it'd be something that I wanted and I'd been after. And then if they had turned around and said, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's free," then even better. But I would have happily paid for it. But I was made to feel like I was a con artist by saying, no then, just because I refused to pay for the fish that I barely wanted. And that was the bit that pissed me off. So, gouramis in general, still not all that keen on them, apart from the extremes. So, the giants, yeah, can get on board with that. The weird licorice and chocolates, and not even chocolates, the ones that you have to put in battery acid to keep them happy, yeah, they have some appeal, but other than that, nah. Question, do you think it's time the UK follows the USA in a $1 per gallon sale? It would be lovely if they did. Yeah. I do feel quite hard done by every time there is a $1 per gallon sale, and they're always going on about it, and I'm like, if only. I've always got my discus at 6.5. For me, it's a great part of the hobby watching them develop. I haven't found them hard to grow on. $6.5 what? If it's 6.5 inches, they're pretty much already grown on. If they're 6.5 centimetres, that's you're doing well then. That's a good job growing them that size. Petco got sold out of the UK, so it'd be nice. Clear seal tanks were maybe cheaper than that because they didn't come with lids, filters, just basic glass tanks. Yeah, clear seal tanks used to be a lot more popular than they are. Well, I don't know if they're more popular, but they're a lot more prevalent than they seem to be these days. I remember every man and their dog had a clear seal tank, and they were getting rid of them for pennies. And yeah, now they're like, oh, you've got a clear seal tank. Who get you, Rockefeller? Chris Cook, 6 weeks down the line, still waiting on my OA replacement. Oh, Chris, you're the chap who had the bit of the catastrophe. 6 weeks down the line, still waiting on my replacement. Absolute nightmare. Oh, you'll need to let me know how you get that sorted in the end. That's not good. Question, what's the one fish you would like to keep but haven't yet? I don't know. Jaguar cichlids. So there's probably others like stingrays and arowanas and this, that and the other. But I remember being shown a picture of a fish once and going, my God, what the hell's that thing? And it turned out it was a jaguar cichlid. I thought that was cool. And it's not like they're impossible to get hold of or anything. I've just never had one. US houses also seem to have basements. Yeah. I mean, some UK houses have basements. I think the US aquarium hobby is different from the UK, and even the UK differs from mainland Europe, but it's changing due to social media. I can see that. It's definitely very different in terms of. So you used to see aquascaping was very much a European thing. Never heard of it in America. Big fish was very much an American thing. You didn't really do that in the UK or in Europe. Nano was always a European thing, not an American thing. But yeah, you're right. Social media has kind of merged all them together. But I think that's just life, isn't it? Same in lots of different cultural. What's the word I'm looking for that I can't say? I want to say amalgamation, but that's not the word I'm going for. Basically, just a mixing of all the cultural diversities to be one common thing. Not to mention US electricity prices are less than a third of ours. Well, there you go. Any advice on building an acrylic tank? No. I have never done it, so I don't know. A nice arowana would be happy in Mega Tank. I'm sure it would. That's the thing, there's so many different, both complementary and competing fish that would go in Mega Tank. I've built a big enough tank to house most things, so most things will go together. Most things that are massive don't go together, so I don't want to have 3 fish. I want some kind of movement and not necessarily a community, but I want a few different fish in there, and I think I can do that. I just don't want to go out and buy. I don't know. I don't know what I want. I think that's the biggest problem. I just don't want to go out and just buy the next fish that I see. I both regret and love buying the tilapia, because I did not plan on buying a tilapia, but when I saw it I was like, wow, that's a cool fish. So if that happens again, we'll see. I don't know. If you're after a different type of giant gourami, what would Wharf be worth talking? Yeah, I mean, there's all these fish shops where that's the problem. I'm not 100% set on, I want black diamond stingrays. If I knew that's what I 100% wanted, I want 10 jaguar cichlids. If I knew that's what I wanted, I could source them tomorrow, go out and get them. I kind of want a million different things, and just I'm waiting for the universe to tell me, there you go, I'll put it on your lap, Graham, pay your money, take your fish, where you go. Mabu puffers, that's another thing. Arowanas, silvers or Asians, peacock bass of various different types, so Temenses, Azules, all kinds of things. They're all very much at the forefront of the choices that I've got to make for this tank, and if I fill it up with too many other things, so if I do go and buy a giant gourami and an Asian arowana and 8 other fish, I then can't get a bunch of peacock bass, or if I buy a bunch of peacock bass, I can't then go and get. Do you know what I mean? It's impossible for me to make my mind up. So I don't know. You're looking for a red-tailed giant gourami. That may well be what it was called. Let me Google that a little bit. Very much so. So it's very much this type of thing that you can see in these pictures here. Let me move my face out way. So when you look at fish like this, yeah, that is a lot cooler than just, well, it's white. I know it's the same fish pretty much, but it just looks a bit cooler in my opinion, and I'm sorry, aesthetics and all that, it's not the same as just your regular grey or white giant gourami, which is more like this. So it was almost identical to that fish, which I'm sure people would be creaming themselves over, going, wow, that's amazing. To me, I'm like, oh, yes, whatever, it's fine. And I've seen a load like this, and I've seen a load that are somewhere in between that grey and that, whereas it's cool and all because of its size and it's very distinctive and everything, but it's not as cool as that because of the colours. Even like the black with that is even better. There's some yellow versions here as well. These are, yeah, so that's more what I'm into. Chocolates are the best gouramis. Gouramis and best in the same sentence? Are you crazy? I noticed in certain shop tour videos they have massive fish in their sumps. Looking sad, don't know if they're sold out yet. They're generally there because the problems. Massive fish are not easy to look after. Massive fish eat smaller fish. Massive fish are dicks. Sometimes they just go around destroying everything. So a lot of certainly the shops that I frequent, their sumps are there for their problem fish. And it's problem fish or big fish, and often they're the same thing. And sometimes it's for fish that are surrendered, so they'll take the sump off the system just because the sump's a fairly big tank. It's just somewhere they can put their surrendered fish that people have brought in because they don't want them for whatever. So yes, they're usually for sale. That's where I got my tilapia. That was in a sump at Maidenhead Aquatics. There you go, as Rebecca says, as a Maidenhead Aquatic ex-employee, I think. Most of their sump fishies are people's dumped fish. Some just handed to the staff and that's it, yeah. Homogenization, there you go, that's the word I was thinking of. You're quite right, it was. Greetings from Wisconsin, USA, says Mitch. Welcome, Mitch, nice to see you. Any news on the shell dwellers? I'm struggling to find some at the moment. No, I haven't been to the shop in a couple of weeks, but I haven't got any either. The amount of fish handed into stores for rehoming is insane. Endless silver, dollars, Oscars, etc. Yep. I think you need a bike share mega tank covering the different levels, so that's not a bad idea. I do like biters. IKEA have sorted their glass sizes out. The glass size stated is for the frame size. No way an IKEA tank would ever fit right. Sorry, that made me laugh. That fish looks like it's hit a wall at speed. Oh dear. I like that. Sorry. I think it might be better to go around and see what you want, because you could get so much that you regret getting, and that's exactly the position I'm in. I'm not just jumping at every single thing that comes along, because then I'll end up backed into a corner, because I'm also the type of person that won't get rid of fish. When I buy a fish or take a fish, generally I want to keep it until its natural death. So it's not, I struggle with going, I'm bored of this now, I'm going to get rid of it and get something else. I generally go, if I'm going to get bored of it, I'm bored of this, so I'm going to keep it for another 100 years and build a new tank over here to build the next thing that I want to keep. Yeah. They do start out grey though. Well, I do prefer the grey ones to the white ones. The white ones just look a bit boring to me. Enough gourami talk. I know gourami's the worst of all fish. Ugh. If you made another couple of mega tanks, you could keep all the fish one way or another. Do you know what? There's an idea. I think I might get divorced if I do that, though. I was thinking of Scarlet Baddis for my Fluval Flex 34 litre till a very knowledgeable person on Discord showed me even sexier Baddis. No names now, I'm so torn. Well, the baddies, as I like to call them, are a very alluring lot. There is, let me see if I can find them. I can't remember what they were called. There's the Scarlet Baddies. Is it Baddies? No. Well, there is them as well, but that's not the ones I was thinking of. Let me see if I can find them. for those of you who don't know, this is the sort of thing that we're looking at here. I can't remember which ones it was that I was looking at many moons ago. But the scarlet baddies, even so scarlets are like this kind of thing, or this kind of thing. They're pretty cool little fish. Yeah, baddies. It's these ones. I think it is. They're a bit special. And they're cool little fish in that they are little, so you don't need a massive tank to keep them, but they are like epistogrammas and things like that. They're often, or dwarf cichlids in general, are very much talked about as being big attitude in a small body. But when I've seen these ones before, I've had friends keep them and seen them before. I've never kept them myself, unfortunately. They are on the list of things to keep before I die, type of thing. They've very much been big personalities in small fish, so you don't need a massive tank. You can get away with smaller tanks. They don't necessarily kill everything in their tank straight away and have fairly wide-ranging requirements in terms of water parameters and things like that. They're happy at lots of different levels. So a great little fish. Tiger baddies, pajama baddies. Is that what I was thinking of? I think I was thinking of baddie. Sorry. Ooh, they're pretty cool. Not what I was thinking of, but they are pretty cool. Right, we're getting close to the time where I have to tell you that there's probably someone streaming on a different channel about cold water stuff. So if you're into that kind of thing, go for it. I shall be leaving you shortly, but we'll see if we can crack through a few more final questions. Any advice on red belly piranha not eating? I've found that if you put a bit of salt on your finger, just dip it in, swirl it around and leave it there. Don't look. Let me know how you get on. Dr. Awesome's in the house. How you doing? No divorce for multiple mega tanks. My wife said no more than 10 tanks. Now I have 24. No divorce yet. If she loves you, she'll have to love the fish. My wife does love the fish. She just doesn't love how much they cost. I want a giant white gourami because the fish shop where I grew up had a mascot one called Sophie, and it brings back memories. I'm more than happy to believe that people do like those fish, and I'm not saying you're wrong for liking them. That's just not my thing. Some crazy people say discus aren't cool. So everyone's entitled to their opinion. There you go, Cold Water Aquatics streaming starting now. So if you want to abandon me, that's fine. Go and say hello. Say Aquarium Adventures sent you. It's nice to spread the love. Make sure they know that you've come from over here and you've gone to say hello. I sent a photo of my first PFK magazine to the Discord of when those baddies were first found. Oh, right. So also check Discord up here. You can go and continue your fishy evening there, or subscribe to my videos and see my nonsense in long and short form style, not just my ramblings on a Friday evening with overstrength alcoholic beverages. A biotope megatank, never. That just seems too much. Sorry, I have to apologise because someone has said the discus fish is the coolest fish, and Streamlabs Streamlabs has timed them out. Streamlabs, what are you doing? Why can't I undo that? I think it's because you used capitals. Streamlabs, you're an idiot. Right, we're going to have to get rid of Streamlabs. We might need some more moderators to do it properly. Or is it Nightbot that's doing it? Stop it, Nightbot! Anyway, so what was the question? Why not choose the Biotope Mega... No, never, because then I literally would have one fish. There's no... Unless I do... No, just no. Unless I did a mega tank that had thousands of little fish. So the subscriber tank that I did, that was the African biotope, that was cool because I could get quite a good amount of fish in there that fit within a biotope and still make it look like a busy tank. If I did that with mega tank, it'd just be that bit bigger. I kind of feel... I completely get behind the that bit bigger philosophy for a one-off of saying, right, rather than having a school of 50 tetras, I'll have a school of 5,000 tetras. That would be cool. There's no getting away from it. That would be cool. But I feel like with a mega tank, you've got to make use of it with a mega fish. A fish that just doesn't fit in something of that size. But, you know, if I'd had 5 mega tanks, I would 100% do small fish in one of them. At least one of them. Streamlabs doesn't agree. Streamlabs is an idiot. Get out of here, Streamlabs. Right, I think we're going to have to call it a day because it's now 11:05. I'm running over my allotted time slot that I made myself in my head. So, thank you very much for joining me. Go and watch a video. Click that subscribe button. Share a video. That's always useful. Just if there's a thing to click the thing. And with that, thank you for joining me. Go and say hello to Brendan over at Coldwater Aquatics and say I sent you. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye! Hang on, I'm back. Coldwater Aquatics isn't streaming, so I am under no obligation to finish quite so early. So you can now sit back and relax and watch me finish my pint in peace without being rushed. I will, of course, have to go for a pee at some point. Because I'm 3 beers deep and haven't stopped talking for the best part of 2 hours. You may well have all gone by now. After all, I did say goodbye. A biotope tank with a shopping trolley and some old beer cans. That is on the cards. I'm definitely going to go down to my local river, the River Don, illegalities be damned, and trap some fish. So we did a video last year or the year before where I caught some of the minnows that were down there. I'm going to set some traps, get some fish, bring them back, put them in one of the tanks and just see what happens. They look pretty cool. He's done a premiere instead as its father-daughter dance this week, so I think everyone should jump over, leave a like and come back. Okay, we can do that. I can do that. Look at that. We'll do a bit of Inception. Little face. Let me move my face. Oh. Hello. Oh, can't spell. Y-O-U. You're live on Aquarium. Can't spell that either. Adventures. See, this kind of thing really helps. When a small channel like me and Coldwater Aquatics, just one extra comment, one extra like, one extra share, it really does make all the difference. It triggers the algorithm, but it doesn't. It's another little engagement. 99.999% of any growth on YouTube is by YouTube showing your video to someone else, and it only shows your video to someone else when it thinks people are already watching your video. So of the people it's already shown it to, how many of them have engaged? So if you do go over, pop in, say hello, even if you just go over and say, I hate cold water fish, it still helps them out. Hit that like button. Where is the like button? There it is. There you go. Done. So there you go. Scott put the chat link in chat. No, he didn't. He put the link in chat, so you can go and do the same if you want. No Discord antics. Of course, those Discord antics. I'm sure there will be. We're still here. I was checking out Discord. I'm not sure I like Discord, but it seems to be all the rage now, so I'll try to get used to it. Stuart, you're in very much the same boat as me. I think you do. It's very powerful. Let's put it that way. You can do lots of things in Discord very easily. So whether you just want to use it as like a chat room, you can use it to share videos, messages. You can use it to have actual chats with people. There are voice channels in there. There's video sharing channels. You can stream games, all that kind of stuff. It's very powerful. But if you use it for nothing else other than just a chat room, it's like an old-fashioned chat room, but on steroids. Hit the like. I did hit the like button. You saw me hit the like button. I was like number 18 out of now 24. Small channel. You have 15k subscribers. I'm a small channel. 600. Well, it's all relative. In YouTube's eyes, I'm a small channel. And I am a small channel. I'm hugely grateful for all the subscribers I do have. And yes, I remember having 600 subscribers. I remember having 1,000. I remember having 5,000. And thinking, oh God, it'll never get any better. Why am I still doing this? I am living proof that if you just keep going, people will eventually find you. So all you have to do is just be tenacious. And then if you anything you can add on top of that, you'll get even better. And I always feel channels like yourself and Freshwater Ichthyology, for instance, just to pick on that one. When you have, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot with a camera, and sometimes a lot of spare time. It's the only reason I've got 15,000 subscribers is I've kept at it and have had a little bit of intrigue as to, well, how do you grow a channel? How do you make a better video? What is more engaging? You've actually got knowledge. So the people who are out there who know what they're talking about, I'm so jealous. And alright, you might have 1,000 subscribers versus my 15,000. I'd trade it in a day for half of the knowledge or the time to get that knowledge or build that knowledge or those experiences. So just keep going. It's my message for everyone that wants to get into YouTube in any way, shape or form. If you want to get into YouTube, that's probably not the right way to do it. If you've already got a load of knowledge and a load of things worth sharing, you may as well make a YouTube channel, because it can help support that thing that you're trying to do. So, we've talked about it before, but Dr. Awesome, we're going to try and get him on as a guest to tell us about his work in the Amazon and the research that he's doing and his love of discus. Because why wouldn't you? We're not going to turn this into a how to make a YouTube channel thing, but we might do that one day. I have some thoughts. I have made a semi-successful YouTube channel with very little knowledge in the field. Shared your video, maybe the algae rhythm will appreciate it. That's the one, yeah. Need to pee before Graham. Yeah, about lasted someone at last. But that's the thing that astonishes me. There are people out there who have decades of experience, actual academic qualifications, years of research into specific subjects, and then there's me going, oh, look at the pretty fish that I bought. Oh, it's terrible. I feel embarrassed for myself sometimes. But I think I'm representing the end of the hobby that's the enthusiast, that isn't the professional, that doesn't have all the academic backing. I was watching one of, so I don't want to blow smoke up anyone's bum, but I was watching one of Freshwater Ichthyology's videos the other day about, I've now instantly forgotten what it was about. I think it was about fish rooms, something like that. Was that right? That how you can be a YouTuber without a fish room, or something along those lines. And it was talking about doing research and reading up on things, and it's something I don't do enough of, and it made me go and read some of the books that I've got and learn some facts, and I learned some facts, and I thought about some things, and it was so true that you can read, research, it's all going towards the greater good of the hobby, because now the next time someone asks me about, I can't remember, I've already forgotten the things that we're talking about, but I'm 3 beers deep, what are you going to do? But the next time someone asks me about that thing, I can go, I read that book, and I can now give you a knowledgeable, learned answer on that topic. I think that's really useful. It was just really good, and it almost annoys me that people like me, well, no, that's not true. It doesn't annoy me that people like me get an element of it. It annoys me that people who have no knowledge and are actively sharing nonsense and the wrong things, and if not straight up lies, get massive amounts of success, whereas people like Dr. Anthony, like Rebecca, with really good knowledge, aren't getting that same level of exposure. And I fit way in under that radar as well. So I don't know whether to start making a series of how to get that side of the hobby more promoted. I think we've talked about it in the past, Rebecca, where I've offered to edit your videos for you to make them better. It's not going to get you 10,000 subscribers overnight, but I think people like you and like Dr. Anthony and like Fish Vet, like various other people in here who have good experience, knowledge, teach me things on a weekly basis, or make me think about things on a weekly basis and go and research other things. We should be promoting that more, I think, rather than just the sensational, oh my god, he's bought a massive fish and it's blue. Whatever. Anyway. Very powerful computer talk. Computer talk, that's my kind of thing. Right, I know all about computer talk. What's your question? Heard people use that word for computer coding. What, very powerful? Well, I'm still struggling with Python. Python? What, their language Python? Very powerful as in, when I said Discord's very powerful. Is that what you mean? I think computer talk, if I can try and figure out what you mean by that, is we tend to talk about things like a product or a thing that 99% of its users will use it in a certain way, but it can actually do way more impressive things than that. Is that what we mean? It's like someone that buys an Apple, the latest Apple Mac Pro, and they use it to edit photos. You're like, what? It took me 3 hours to work out how to download Python using Ubuntu, because I needed to download some extra things. Oh, right, yeah. You're starting at a low bar then, okay. I bet you had an enormous sense of well-being afterwards. I've had similar IT issues. See, that's just things that us IT people say we try and make everything sound really difficult and really exclusive, so as we get kept in a job. Everything's actually quite straightforward. I can download this software under the GitHub that says installation should be simple. I have the same problem with GitHub. If you're looking for software on GitHub, installation will not be simple, no matter what it says. Installation is simple. It's when you click a button that says download and install, ? And you click it, and you wait, and it appears. Not having to recompile things and get them. Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you mean about GitHub. It's the worst thing in the world. I'm doing great for 3 hours beer before breaking the seal. Yeah, the seal is well intact for me, but I think it's going to go soon. You do a great stream. Discus people have to stick together. Solidarity for the Discus people. I have a super powerful gaming computer, but I play a 20-year-old game. I could play it on a potato if I wanted. Exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could send several spaceships to NASA with the computing power in front of me right now, and I'm talking nonsense on YouTube. And with that, I'll thank you very much all for joining me. I'm now going to have to go and have a pee-pee and visit the little boy's room. Click that button. Click the clicks. If you see it, click it. Thank you for joining me. Bye. I was going to press a button there, but that doesn't do anything, so I'm going to have to click over here. Bye.